Good day everyone, my name is Kate Villarmino from ESTM2C3 and now I'm going to discuss about the history of volleyball, rules and regulation, court structure, officiating and the game. So first, what is volleyball? Volleyball is an Olympic and NCAA sport as well as a play game by default on indoor courts and outdoor at playgrounds and beaches and in backyards. Volleyball was invented in 1895, just 4 years after the invention of basketball. Volleyball game played by two teams, usually of 6 players on a side, in which the players use their hands to bat the ball back and forth over a high net, trying to make the ball touch the court within the opponent's playing area before it can be returned. To prevent this, a player on the opposing team bats the ball up and for the teammate before it touches the court surface. The teammate may then volley it back across the net or bat it to a third teammate who volleys it across the net. A team is allowed only 3 touches of the ball before it must be returned over the net. Volleyball was invented in 1895 by William G. Morgan, physical director of the Young Men's Christian Association in Holyoke, Massachusetts. It was designed as an indoor sport for businessmen who found the new game of basketball too vigorous. Morgan called the sport mind-to-net until a professor from Springfield College in Massachusetts noted the volleying nature of play and proposed the name of volleyball. The offensive style of setting and spiking was first showcased in 1916 in the Philippines. Over the years that followed, the rules of the sport were further refined and standardized. In 1917, the scoring systems per game was changed from 21 to 15 points, while in 1920, the rule stipulating a maximum of 3 hits per team was instituted. Until the early 1930s, volleyball was for the most part a game of leisure and recreation, and there were only a few international activities and competitions. There were different rules of the game in the various parts of the world. However, national championships were played in many countries, for instance in Eastern Europe, where the level of play had reached a reformable standard. This sport took a huge step forward in 1947 with the creation of the Federation International de Volleyball. 2 years later, the inaugural World Championships took place in Prague, Czechoslovakia. Volleyball made its Olympic debut at Tokyo 1947, with the USSR taking men's gold and the host nation winning the women's competition. Beach volleyball, which had its origins on the beaches of California back in 1930, had to wait until 1996 for its inclusion in the Olympic program, and it has helped take the global reach and popularity of the sport to a new level. Volleyball has witnessed a particularly impressive growth spurt over the last 2 decades, fueled by the expansion of international competitions such as the FIVB World Championships, the FIVB World League, the FIVB World Grand Prix, the FIVB World Cup, and the FIVB Grand Championships Cup, not to mention of course the Olympic Games, where both the indoor and beach versions now enjoy huge popularity. Today, over 120 years after it was first conceived, volleyball is played by more than 800 million people worldwide, a fact that will surely leave its creator, William Morgan, whose goal was to create a sport open to all, a huge amount of satisfaction. Rules and regulations. Positions. Of the 6 players, 3 are to the front and 3 to the back, with the back player at the left being the server. Serving. Once the ball has been served, any player can move anywhere on court and even chase the ball out of court if needed. If the serve is going out, leave it to hit the floor. If you touch it before it lands, then you must play the ball. So the serve is not allowed to touch the floor. Hitting the ball. So your team have up to 3 touches to return the ball over the net. So although it can be returned by the first or second touch, so a player mustn't have 2 consecutive hits, but having the first and third hit is okay. In the rally, So in this way, the only part of a player's body that is allowed to land on the opponent's court is the foot, and then only a part of it is the above the center line. So also, players mustn't touch the top of the net. Blocking. A backcourt player mustn't take part in a block, even if they don't touch the ball. A block does not count as a regular hit, so your team still have 3 more hits. Also, if you block them, you're also allowed to make the first hit. Winning. The winner is the first team to reach 25 points by 2 clear points. So if you serve and get the point, you keep the serve. If you don't get the point, the other team gets to serve and also a point. So note, if the opposition only need 1 point to win and you mess up a serve, they win without even touching the ball. Court structure. The volleyball court dimensions of the playing area are 18 times 9 meters circumscribed by an area of free zone with the length of 3 meters on all its sides. So the volleyball court is rectangular in shape and is symmetrical. The free zone just above the playing perimeter is devoid of any kind of obstructions. The pre-playing zone is placed at a height of at least 7 meters from the playing area. So however, according to the rules and regulation, the pre-zone must be located at least 5 meters away from the sidelines and 6.5 meters from the end lines for FIVB World and official competitions. The height of the pre-playing space from the playing zone is required to measure at least 12.5 meters. Officiating a volleyball game. In playing a volleyball game, the duties and functions of officials should be defined because it is important for each player to know the limits of the authority and his relationship to others. The first one is first referee. So the first referee directs the match from the start until the end. He has the authority to overall officials and the members of the teams. During the match, his decisions are final to sanction misconduct, to decide upon the calls, and he has the power to decide any matter involving the game, including those not provided for in rules. And second referee, he is the assistant of the first referee but also his own range of jurisdiction. So he controls the work of the scorer, he checks that the actual positions of the players on the court corresponding to those on the lineup sheets. So during the match, the second referee decides whistles and signals. In scorer, he keeps the score sheet according to the rules cooperating with the second referee, register the data of the match and teams according to procedures enforced, and obtains the signatures of the captains and the coaches. So he also records the points scored and ensures that the scoreboard indicates the right score, controls the serving order to each team, records the timeouts and player substitutions, and also he notifies the referees of a request for interruption that is out of order and announces to the referees the ends of each set. In linesmen, they signal the touches of out ball by the team receiving the ball. They signal when the ball crosses the net outside the crossing space touching the antenna. The linesman in charge of the end line signals the footfalls of the server. At the first referee's request, a linesman must repeat his signal. The game in volleyball. Jump serve. The server stands at the back of the serving area. As the server moves toward the service line, the ball is tossed in front of and above the server. As the server leaps, the forearm rises to shoulder height and the striking hand is thrown back. At the peak of the jump, the striking arm swings quickly forward with the open hand making contact with the ball out in front of the bat. Forearm pass. From the basic defensive position, knees bend, feet spread, one foot sliding in front of the other. The outstretched arms are brought together with thumbs together and rotated downward. The ball is met by the forearms with a shoveling motion of the arms. The pass should be made with a flowing, coordinated motion of the legs, body, and arms. Front set. The set is essentially a refined overhand pass. With elbows out, the hands should be raised to a position above the head. Palms should be out with fingers spread and thumbs down. The arms should be extended to meet the ball with the pads of the fingers. The ball is directed upward and toward the spot where the hitter can make an aggressive play on it. Block position. Block position about an arm's length from the net and ready to jump. The defender follows the flight of the ball with hands raised. So the defender moves toward the net and into a blocking position in front of the presumed attacker. So the defender then jumps with both hands breaking the plane about the net. Dig from the basic defensive position. Knees bend, feet spread, one foot slightly in front of the other. So the outreached arms are brought together while the athlete lunges toward and under the ball in order to pop it back into the air with the hands or arms. If sprawling is necessary, the athlete follows through with a dive or a roll and quickly regains a standing position.